Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So officially we have the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket from HyperMegaTech. Really looking forward to getting my hands on this. Yep, it is compatible with Evercade cartridges, so we will be doing a full review. Yep, we are still waiting on the Taito edition. We'll do that in a separate video coming very soon. Without further ado, let's get this unboxed and let's have a look at what it's all about. Let's go. Okay guys, let's have a look at the box before we open it up. We've got 12 arcade classics built into these little devices. Obviously they are designed to fit in your pocket, which is a massive bonus. If you've got an Evercade EXP, then you probably don't really need to have one, but these will certainly fit in your pocket, whereas an Evercade EXP will certainly not fit in your pocket. They are too large. But this is the Capcom edition. There is a Taito edition as well, which we'll review in a future video. Yep, arcade classics in your pocket from HyperMegaTech, which is owned by Blaze, which also do the Evercade products. Lovely screenshots on the side of the box too. Have a look at the other side. Pretty cool. I love the design of the box, it really is cool. And yet you can expand your Super Pocket if you're interested. You can play all 500 plus games on Evercade cartridges. I can't remember, I think we're up to 30 or plus cartridges at this point, maybe more, maybe 40. I've lost count, to be honest. So that really is up to you if you want to expand. There's no pressure at all. I think this is certainly designed for a casual market out there, rather than those that are already on board with Evercade. But you've got all these classics built in. You've got the easy mode for young players, 2.8 inch high quality IPS screen, 4 hours play, Evercade Cart compatible, rechargeable battery, USB-C charging. All very interesting stuff, but yeah, let's get this box open and see what this little device can do. Oh yeah, and as I said, look at the side of the box, number 2. Number 1 is the Taito version, which we'll look at in a future video, but that's interesting. Be interesting to see how many more they actually have planned to sort of make out there. Hard to say, they've not actually indicated, but I would expect we'll see a few more of these hit the market at some point. Okay, so we've got a poster included, or some kind of poster anyway, which is quite cool. Obviously, get more games. So talk about Evercade Carts. Which is kind of cool. You can expand your library, lots of carts. If you've not watched our channel at any point, then I've got tons of Evercade content on every collection that's already out there. And there's tons of stuff coming as well, which is fantastic. And there's just some little diagrams on what to do. Basically, it's like a quick start guide. You can see that there, pretty straightforward. It gives you some colour code in there for the charging. Power on, charging when it's red, steady, green light, fantastic. Anyway, 10 cartridges, oh, there you go, 1. Anybody up for that? Certainly be good if you're just starting your collection. Okay, included is the USB-C charging cable, and I would highly recommend use the one that's included. Sometimes some charging cables can be maybe overpowered. I would certainly recommend to always use the cable that it comes with. Just a word of warning just in case. Yeah, let's have a look at the unit itself. So there we go. We've got, and it's actually really solid. It's very well built. I know it's only 50 quid. These retail at £50 on Amazon, Fun Stock, Game, you name it. There's lots of different retailers out there that's stocking this, and it's really solid. Certainly something that I noticed when I got my first hands on at the Blackpool Game Expo. It's very good quality. I know it does sort of seem like a budget device, but it doesn't feel like one. It is very well built, and you see it's a nice size as well. You can see there's the actual charge cable. It would give you an idea of the size of the unit. It does seem pretty nice. It's a nice size indeed. But yeah, let's have a look. We've got D-pad. Again, not entirely sure if the D-pad's all that great. We'll soon find out once we get some decent gameplay going. It seems okay. Certainly seems soft, and the buttons seem really nice as well. They certainly seem a little bit too close together for my liking, I guess. But we'll soon see how that affects gameplay. You've got your start and select button, they're pretty tiny, and this is your menu button to navigate through the menu for load states and save states, that kind of thing. On the bottom here, this is your on off switch. You've got a headphone jack as well, and you've also got your USB-C charging. On the side, it looks like they've got a speaker unit here, I guess, or maybe it's maybe it's for airflow, I don't know. This is obviously the speaker on the front. Now these might be speakers or they might just be for airflow, not entirely sure. This part on the back up here is your volume up and down button, and then you've got your shoulder buttons as well, which are quite soft as well. They're not very clicky, they seem quite nice. You can hear a nice soft sound there. And all the buttons are quite nice. Nothing on the top, absolutely nothing. It's very minimalistic, and I guess that's what they're going for with these devices, is minimalistic. You just want to get stuck in, play some games without any fuss and hassle, which is really what is ideal for those casual gamers out there. If you want something to tinker with, this is not the device for you. There's something obviously I want to have a look at. You've got this dummy cartridge sitting on the back. Now a lot of people would love these for their Evercade EXPs or the original Evercades. They're just dummy cartridges. It's just basically a little bit of plastic with nothing in it. There's no circuit board or anything inside it. Get more games, find out how, there you go. Which is quite cool. And you can see here, these should be compatible with Evercade Carts, which I will test every single one later in the video. But without further ado, let's get this unit switched on. Hopefully it doesn't need too much of a charge to start with. So you've got a blue light, and we've got Blaze Entertainment. We'll try and move this as close as possible. Nice, I like that intro. So, we start off pretty simple. English, Spanish, French, Dutch, German, you name it, you pick it. I guess we can turn the sound down a little bit. Let's see, it's on the right hand side here. And this is just coming out. Yeah, the sound is just coming out this speaker here. I guess these are for airflow, I'm guessing. But let's turn it down slightly so that you can actually hear me talk. So let's turn it down a little bit. So yeah, let's select, let's go through the actual options. A. Now you've got easy mode, looking to kick and relax, normal mode. I guess you can change this at any point, but yeah, me being me, I'm going to go for the easy mode. Okay, just jumping in here, future Crazy Burger here, but I'm just wondering if easy mode is compatible with every single arcade cart, or every single cart that's out there. I'm assuming this is just for arcade, and it's really just for the built-in games, but I was wondering if it did work with the other arcade carts when you put them into the Super Pocket. It wasn't really massively clear. It's not clear, and there's nothing out there that's telling us if it is compatible or not. Hopefully Blaze can confirm this at some point. And then we've got some usual stuff. I hope you're reading that. I mean, what happens if you reject? You'll just get nothing. Interesting, there's actually a full charge on this to start with, which is quite cool. Considering this has probably been lying for maybe a few weeks. That's pretty cool. Hopefully that bodes well for these units having a decent sort of charge. But there you go. Very simple start. We've got all the games. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. Very tough version of Street Fighter. You've got Strider, Mercs, 1942, 1943, 1944, Bionic Commando, Captain Commando, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Mega Man. Some really good games there. I'm looking forward to. We'll play through all of them quickly, but before we do that, let's have a look at what our options are. We've got, if you press the menu button, you go to the Capcom option there, but if you want to play Evercade Carts, what's Evercade? All you need to do is insert a cart. Got some game highlights. Wow, that's pretty cool. I love it. How do we go back? Oh yeah, so press that button again. So let's have a look at the settings quickly. Oh, always press the A button. So we've got display, some basic sort of changes there. You can put it as pixel perfect, full screen, original ratio, and some scan lines. That's really it. So press B to go back. Sound, some basic options there. Language, again, we've already seen that. Difficulty, you can obviously go back in and change if you don't like the easy mode. You want more of a challenge. Legal and support, usual guff, and credits. Team Argon. It's pretty similar to what you would see on the XP or the VS. Anyway guys, that's very, very basic, which is what these things are all about. These things are all about playing the games, and I guess that's what it should be all about really. So let's have a look at the Capcom games. Quickly jump into one. Let's see, can we play Street Fighter and get past the first round? This looks really nice. Wow. So let's put the sound up. The sound is very impressive. Nice. Let's just press the select button to insert coins and press the start button to get started. It'd be interesting to see how these shoulder buttons work trying to play these moves, to be honest. I feel as if my fingers might be too big to actually reach all of them. I'm not really sure where they are at the moment. But yeah, certainly putting that easy mode certainly helps us. I would be getting my ass kicked by now. I probably still will. Yeah, I'm not really sure about these shoulder buttons, to be honest. A little bit of practice, I feel as if my fingers are a bit too big to get anywhere near. I'm not sure which one I'm actually pressing. But yeah, pretty impressive so far. The screen looks fantastic, it really does. And just having a look here, there's no obvious screen bleeding. You see there is some lights at the side, but if you look straight on at it you will not see a thing, but I think there is some light bleeding, or just some light at the top and at the side here, but it's not actually too bad at all. Looking straight ahead, there's no major issues, it looks absolutely fine. And I don't think the camera's doing this justice. It is very clear and very colourful, it's certainly vibrant in the colours. Let's have a look at the options, and if you press the menu button, you've got your save options, so press the A button again, and you've got some different slots, so there you go. Let's go back in again, you should have a little screen, I guess. If you want to load that back in again, you can see where your progress is and go back, so that is pretty cool. You've got some controls, again a little bit a shame, this is quite basic. If you want to change that, you don't have any options on here. If you've got an EXP, you can obviously change the different layouts of the buttons, but these units are not meant for that. They are meant for pick up and play without any messing about. Display, you can get into these options. You want to reset and go back to the main screen, or sort of reset the game that you're playing, it will do that. Otherwise, go back to the main screen, and you can then pick another game. So guys, we'll play through some of these games, and then we'll try out Evercade Carts and make sure all of the Evercade Carts available are compatible. It's certainly possible to pull off those special moves, but it's certainly a little bit tricky. So one thing that's certainly quite apparent is using those shoulder buttons around here, obviously for the super kicks and the punches and that type of thing. It's really difficult to know which one you're pressing, and I think if the game does use these heavily, it's going to be really tough to actually get the right button. I think they're just too closely placed, and I'm obviously using the same finger for each of them, but yeah, it's a bit tricky. Not ideal. I think they're too closely placed, and I guess in a unit this size it's a little bit awkward. So I guess if any game does utilise these shoulder buttons, it will be a wee bit awkward to play, but I think gladly across the full Evercade range, not many games actually use the shoulder buttons in a great way. There are a few games there, like Cathedral's one of them, and some C64 games, obviously this one, but anyway, let's move on. Okay, let's move on to Strider, another classic arcade game. That's not light bleed, that's actually my light in the room, just in case anyone is pinpointing that. You can see light bleed isn't too bad, there is some up here, but that's not how you're looking at the screen. There's none on the left, a little bit up the top. Nothing major. Honestly, looking straight on, there's no issue here at all. Now I've got this set up with filters on now. So if we start the game, you'll see the filters. It's got some scan lines on. It actually looks quite cool. I guess it might look like this in original arcade cabinets. It really is a personal choice which one you actually choose yourself. Obviously we are limited to what we can choose. If you press the menu button, you can go into display. You've got subtle scan lines, strong scan lines. Not really sure I want to do that, but subtle actually seems not too bad. I'll put it back to none, but obviously you've got a few different options. Pixel perfect, it obviously makes the screen a little bit smaller, but it certainly makes the screen a little bit sharper as well. The image is sharp. Now, I guess for the most part I'll use the original ratio, but some games like Mega Man, which we'll show you later, it's probably better to use the Pixel Perfect mode. But look at the full screen, if you want to stretch it a little bit, it's actually not too bad. Given this sort of small screen, stretching it out a little bit to be full screen is actually not too bad at all. But again, this is all a very personal choice, it's up to you what you go for. Now the thing about Mercs, it defaults to this sort of screen, vertical aspect ratio screen, and for a unit this size this really is not the ideal way of playing it. You can actually hardly read the text on screen there, and given this is one of the package games, it's a bit odd, but I think for me, I know you wouldn't actually recommend this normally. If you put it on full screen, it's actually not too bad. It obviously stretches the text and makes it just as unreadable, but when you actually start the game, it's actually not too bad. It makes the game a little bit more sort of bearable to play, and it doesn't look too bad at all like this. Whereas if you play it as it's intended to play, it probably doesn't look great. For instance, if you go back to the sort of original aspect ratio, it looks a bit like that, and it's not really the best way of playing it for me on this device. Obviously if you've got an EXP you would play this in the Taito mode, but this unit does not have Taito mode. So I would probably recommend, if you have games like that, I would probably recommend putting it to full screen, and it actually looks alright, it's not too bad. A little bit stretched, but I have seen it a lot worse. I think it's certainly better than the original ratio, but again, a personal choice. Okay, moving on to another vertical aspect ratio game, we have 1942. Now, it certainly makes me wonder why they've included these games on here, because if you look at the display and the original ratio, it's pretty small, looks a bit odd. It's probably not the most ideal way of playing these things. So it certainly makes me wonder why they included these games on this little unit. But if you sort of change it again to the full screen, again I might get pelters for this, but I don't think it looks too bad. I think it certainly makes the games feel a wee bit more playable. So I'm just briefly playing through these games, make sure they work. Again, still on this full screen aspect ratio, I think it looks better. Certainly makes it more visible. Certainly one thing about this screen, it's very bright and colourful. It certainly impressed me. For a unit this sort of cheap, it's pretty impressive. I think it was certainly better than the original Evercade. The viewing angles are fine as well. I have no issue with viewing angles, which was a major issue with the original Evercade. Certainly this is one of the best of the bunch here, Lookmaster 1944. Absolutely cracking game. Let's put the sound up a bit for this one. Sound is absolutely fantastic for this little device, pretty impressive. You could almost argue it's better than the EXP sound. Yep, absolutely terrific. Not a big fan of this game, to be honest. I think the first level itself is actually really tough. Once you get past it, it certainly gets better. I feel as if it's a very tough opening level. Very good. I love the stolen sound effect from Final Fight. From Guy. Pretty cool game. Yep, pretty cool. Okay, talking about the sound, I tried some headphones with it and sort of had mixed results. I had the headphones in, the sound was coming through the headphones, but the sound was also coming through the unit as well. I think it depends what headphones you actually use, whether it's two-pronged or sort of three-pronged, or three notches anyway. I found the three notches I had a few difficulties depending how far I pushed in the sort of headphones into the jack, so had a little bit of an issue there, but yeah, not ideal. The sound was fine through the headphones, I just had a little bit of mixed sort of fortune with it. Let's have a little bit of go with Final Fight. Now I'd guess two notches of the headphones would probably be better. I'm not sure why there's always an issue with the three notch headphones. Let's have a go at Final Fight. Emulation is top notch for this, really good. I've played this game so much over the years, and sort of the emulation that Evercade have put on here is fantastic. Obviously this is HyperMegaTech, but I think for all intents and purposes it's pretty much the same team that work on the emulation on Evercade that are working on the emulation on HyperMegaTech. Okay, on to Forgotten Worlds. Now this one uses shoulder buttons to manoeuvre the character, and also something I want to talk about here is two-player games. Now a lot of these games that we're playing here, Capcom games, they're all two-player games, and there's no way of playing two-player games on this unit at all. You can't link up another one, so it's single-player only, which is mad because a lot of these games are two-player games. This one is certainly notable as a two-player game. You can't play someone else with Street Fighter either, which is a bit annoying. But it is what it is. It'd be good if we could link them up at some point with another Super Pocket. I'm not sure if that'll ever happen. Now, you have to use the shoulder buttons. I think it's the left and right one to manoeuvre, or R2 and R1. So you're basically using R1 and R2 to manoeuvre the character to where you're shooting. And pressing the B button to fire. It's very awkward. Now, this game is awkward to play at the best of times, but on this unit, I would say this game is practically unplayable due to the fact that where these shoulder buttons are. It's not an enjoyable experience at all. If you get big sort of hands or big fingers, it's going to be really tough. You can see here I'm trying to manoeuvre the character with each shoulder button, and it's tricky, very tricky. So not ideal there for the shoulder buttons. Just a couple more games and then we'll look at Evercade collections. This is Ghouls and Ghosts, is it? Ghouls and Goblins? I can never remember what one it is. Ghouls and Ghosts, I think. Cool game, but absolutely solid. I wonder if the easy mode will make things a little bit more bearable. I think that's something that was apparent with the Evercade EXP. There was the lack of options, with the lack of dip switches, for example, or easy mode, makes the games really tough to play through. I'm actually struggling to jump past here for some reason. Not sure if it's the D-pad or what. Oh, I'm going now. Yep, seems okay. The D-pad was a little bit sticky in that game. And the last game, this is actually not an arcade game, this is the NES version of Mega Man. Now, something also I want to touch on, which I've seen mentioned in many videos, is the Pixel Perfect mode here. Does make a difference. Let's turn up a little bit. The sound is generally quite quiet on this game, but... Okay, so if you look at the health bar at the left there, you see there's notches. It's not quite perfect, but if you change this to... Oh, I always press B. If you change that to Pixel Perfect, it should sort that out. You can see here it's now looking a lot better how it should look. So you might want to pick and choose which aspect ratio you're going to choose for each game. This game is solid and I'm terrible at it. Okay guys, what I'm going to do now is check out some Evercade carts, make sure they're all compatible, and I'll highlight any issues that I find going forward. So try to play them both about the same time. And try to sort of garner the different screen qualities. It's actually not too bad at all. The Super Pocket certainly holds up pretty well, I think. It certainly seemed to load a little bit quicker on the Super Pocket, interestingly enough. But there's not much difference in it. You see? Certainly the resolution is a little bit better on the XP, there's no doubt about it. But the Super Pocket holds up pretty well. Okay guys, so I'm going to test a whole load of carts. Now just for the record here, I have actually tested every single cart, and every single cart does actually work. However, there are a few that have some issues. I found obviously this one has an issue, Cathedral doesn't really work. And I found I had a small issue with Oliver Twins, but we'll show this in the video in a second. And I had an issue with one of the latest collections as well, the Delphine collection. But anyway, I'll show you that in the video. On the best part, every cart works. Obviously didn't test every game, but I'll go through some of these carts and explain some of the stuff as I go. I'm trying an arcade collection. This is the Gatelco Arcade 1. And I was just really trying this for World Rally, which is one of my faves. Getting too excited there. See, works absolutely fine, no big issues at all. Yeah, that was completely meant. Okay, turn the sound back down again. Now try another collection. We've got the Gatelco 1 cart. So just gone through a few just to make sure they're okay, just to prove that they actually do work. Now I've tried every cart works fine. Only actually came across maybe 2 or 3 problems at most, and I'll go through them one at a time. Excellent game, I love this. Yep, fantastic, so let's move out of that. Okay, next I was just going to pick up one at a time here. So yeah, I've got Namco Museum Collection 1. I've already tried the Namcos, they actually obviously work. Let's try a little bit of the Ireme Arcade 1, just for a little bit of R-Type, since that's a classy game. I'm not a classy player at it though. I'll turn the sound up again. Oh, this is the longest I've ever lasted. No funny jokes, please. Oh, it's a new record for me. Again, no funny jokes. Oh, yep. I spoke too soon. Let's move on. Okay, what we got next? So I was going to try Xeno Crisis and Tanglewood. We'll get to the problem carts at the end, but I was just going to show this working. I thought this really worked fantastically well. This game, obviously you utilise the buttons to fire which direction and the D-pad for movement, and as you can see it is absolutely fantastic on this little device. What a top game, and it works brilliantly on the Super Pocket. If you're thinking about picking up a cart, I certainly think about this one. Might be a video I'll do at some point, what carts are best for the Super Pocket, but yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, just maybe a quick talk here about battery life. You see here I've now down to 2 bars. I have been playing this solidly for the last 3 or 4 hours, so the fact that it's going to give you 4 hours plus battery life, that's a good sign. They're obviously advertising 4 hours, and the fact that I'm getting that, that's a good sign, which is fantastic. So let's have a look at this. Is Codemasters Collection 1. Something I wanted to sort of highlight here was, I think it was Sensible Soccer. Good game, but I just felt the sprites are a little bit small for my liking to play this perfectly well. I think I've got some save states I can quickly load in. You see here, this one obviously I've saved it recently, and it saved the picture, which is fantastic. This is how it will save if you do save on the Super Pocket from now on. Yeah, let's have a quick look. If you look at the graphics are very, very tiny here, and it is hard to see, so it's probably not the most ideal game to play on here. You can almost make out the writing, I guess, but that's zoomed right in. If you've got bad eyesight, then probably wouldn't recommend picking this game up at all. And the sprites themselves are tiny. Anyway, that was just for that purpose. Let's move on from that. Getting a collection here. Oh, another one I wanted to try out was the Atari Lynx collection, just for a specific reason. Let's choose this game. So one of the reasons I chose this up, because of the screen ratio. Obviously the Atari Lynx was a long handheld, and you can see here it's created some bars top and bottom for this game, but if you want to get rid of it, you can just put it full screen. It doesn't look too bad. Again, don't be too hard on me. It does look okay this way. It doesn't look too stretched or anything. You can get away with it without having those rather ugly bars on your screen. It really is, again, it's a personal choice, so don't have a go at me because I don't mind playing things like this. Sometimes you can get away with it, and sometimes you can't. Okay, I'm going to have a quick bash at the Gremlin collection, and for one specific reason. It was to play the PlayStation game that's on here, just to prove that PlayStation games actually work fine. This is Actual Soccer. I played quite a few of the PlayStation games. Most of them were fine. Speedball, I can't remember the other title of it. There was another Football Madness. That played okay. It seemed a little bit slow to me, but in general I thought the PlayStation games were absolutely fine. That was just in preparation for the Duke Nukem Collection 2, which has 2 PlayStation games on it. And obviously Duke Nukem Collection 1 has 1 game on it, if you're interested in picking them up. PlayStation games will take a little bit longer to load. But I didn't see any massive issues with the games. They seem to play okay. You can see you can actually change the camera angles here. I'm just changing them with the L2 button, just to prove that they actually work, and it works perfectly. Obviously I'm overdoing it a little bit here, but you get the point. Okay, we'll just try the Sunsoft Collection 1. This is one of the more recent carts, just to make sure we are compatible. Whoops. Let's try a little bit of Mr. Gimmick just for that lovely soundtrack. How cool is that? Unfortunately this game is super tough, but what a great soundtrack it has. Yeah, maybe I'm just rubbish, but no, this game is hard. Cool little game, but yeah, it's super hard. Okay guys, that leaves these 3 carts that I've got left which I had issues with. Now the first one I'm going to put in is Oliver Twins Collection. I had some issues trying to register that. Now it's registered fine, but it took me a few goes to actually play it. Now the game's played fine, but sometimes when I sort of put the cartridge in, it wouldn't actually register. As you can see here, it didn't register for some reason, don't know why, but you can see the first time it did. Just need to keep taking it in and out and yeah, doing the old thing, blowing it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really know what's going on there, but there is some issues there. You might find some carts do that to you. You just have to maybe persevere. They should eventually work. Now another thing I want to check here was the Cathedral cart. It does work, but one of the games doesn't work. Always Awakening, happily to report, does actually work fine. I'm not going to play it because it works fine. The other game, unfortunately, doesn't work. We get this message here. You can see here it says, sorry, this game currently isn't supported. Please visit that for more info. Now, I think it's probably due to the fact that this game is a native game and it runs natively on Evercade products, meaning it probably needs a little bit of extra help to get it to work. Not sure why they didn't get this working in preparation for the Super Pocket coming out, but that's what we're greeted with. Now, these aren't really meant to be updated, but hopefully they will be able to update. I guess it will be via the USB socket, via an update on your computer. I guess that's how it worked on the original Evercade handheld. So I don't think they were originally planning to do this, but given the fact that this isn't working at the moment, you might find that we will have a firmware update going forward for this. And when we do, I'll make a video on it at the time. But at this point in time, Cathedral does not work on the Super Pocket. And last of all, was one of the latest collections, which is the Delphine Collection 1, which has some Amiga games and Flashback, and it's absolutely fantastic. All the games worked apart from one. When I tried to start Future Wars, nothing happened. It just goes straight back. I don't know what's going on. It does work on my XP. I play this from time to time. It definitely works on my XP. The other games work fine. If we look at Flashback, for instance, you can see this works absolutely fine. Great game too. I think it's probably better on the XP or the VS right enough, but it certainly works absolutely fine on this little handheld. Great game too. I'd highly recommend it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, especially with the save states making things a little bit easier to make progress, and I've made progress further than I ever did before. Fantastic. Okay guys, just summing up now my overall thoughts on the Super Pocket. Now, for me this is an absolutely fantastic device. For 50 quid, built-in Capcom games, and the fact that you can probably expand your library with these Evercade collections is fantastic. It certainly is a cheap way to getting on board to Evercade if you're interested in that. Obviously you don't have to, you can just really play the Capcom games, or if you're getting the Taito version, that. But it's a very cheap way to get into Evercade, given the fact that EXP is about £120. So this 50 quid just to play all these games, it's very, very affordable, I would say, and it's a great little device. Certainly not perfect, but so far I haven't seen any major issues. Great sound, it's got a really nice screen. No massive issues at all, to be honest. Some of the carts for Evercade obviously have issues, as we've just seen, but overall I'm really impressed with this product. I guess one of the things I was just wondering about is what about the chosen games. Why did we not get Rainbow Islands or Chase HQ, for example, within the sort of Capcom collection? Interesting choice of games. I think I would have probably dropped some of the vertical aspect ratio games, not sure why, but it's got a nice battery life. See, I've still got 2 bars and I've been playing it for the last few hours. Yeah, overall fantastic device. I would highly recommend it if you're interested at all in joining the Evercade sort of community. It's certainly a cheap way to get in there. Otherwise, it's just a nice little device that you could maybe buy as a Christmas present for your loved one or someone that's got a casual interest in gaming. But yeah, I totally recommend it. Certainly if you're more sort of a serious gamer, I would probably say get an EXP, but for 50 quid, the Super Pocket, fantastic. So certainly one of the drawbacks is these shoulder buttons. Even though they're nice buttons, I just don't feel that they're very comfortable to reach on the hand, especially with sort of prolonged plays. It's not the most comfortable. It's not as comfortable as the XP, for example. And some games are awkward, like Forgotten Worlds, trying to sort of manoeuvre the character with the sort of shoulder buttons. I just feel that's the weakest part of this unit. But overall, I find that this is a fantastic little device, and certainly would highly recommend it out there. But yep, stay tuned for the Taito version. I'll hopefully have that in my hands very soon. I know a lot of folk that have Evercades are more interested in that version. But this has been the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket from HyperMegaTech. Guys, thanks very much for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.